You're at the edge of the water with your shoes off. The sand is warm, there's a small shell half buried near your foot, and you bend down and pick it up. It's nothing, a pretty thing, and for a moment the whole world is that shell, and the sound of the tide, and the fact that nobody needs you right now. The light is low and gold across the shallows. You could stay here. You want to stay here, but there's a ship anchored just off the shore. You came in on it, and at some point, without warning, the captain is going to call. When he does, the shell doesn't come with you. Nothing on this beach comes with you. That's the part we spend our whole lives pretending isn't true. The man who taught you that the good things are on loan wrote a strange little travel story about exactly this. A voyage, ashore, a captain's voice, and hidden inside it is one line that has made readers flinch for 1900 years. It's about a wife and a child. Hold on to that line. It sounds cold. By the end, I want you to see what it's actually protecting. Yesterday was borrowed pride. Today is the harder half of the same truth. The good things were never yours. Fine. But they're also due back, and you don't get told when. Here's the picture Epictetus draws. You're on a sea voyage, and the ship drops anchor. You go ashore for water. Along the way, he says, you might amuse yourself picking up a shellfish or a truffle you spot in the dirt. Fine. Enjoy them. But keep your thoughts bent toward the ship. Stay attentive. Because the captain can call at any moment. And when he calls, you drop the shellfish, you drop the truffle, and you go. Or you'll be carried aboard, bound like a sheep. And then comes the line that stops people. If, instead of a shellfish or a truffle, you're given a wife and a child, he says, that's fine too. But if the captain calls, run to the ship, leave all of it, and never look behind. Sit with how that lands, because it lands wrong at first. It should. He just put your family in the same sentence as things you found on a beach. To modern ears, that's jarring, even ugly. It would be dishonest to smooth it over, so let's not. Here's what he is saying and what he isn't. The ship is death. The captain's call is the moment any of it ends. The diagnosis, the accident, the ordinary arrival of the last day. Epictetus isn't saying your wife matters as little as a truffle. He's saying that when the ship calls, you can't argue with it, no matter how much you love what you're holding. The truffle and the child are not equal in worth. They're equal in one specific way, and only one. Neither of them is yours to keep. So if you can't keep any of it, what are you supposed to do with the shell while you have it? This is where the whole thing turns. And it turns gently. He doesn't say leave the shell alone. He says pick it up. Enjoy it. Just keep one eye on the ship. That's a completely different instruction from the one it sounded like. He's not telling you to love your family less. He's telling you to love them like someone who knows the visit ends, which is the only honest way anyone has ever loved anyone. Nearly 2,000 years later, a palliative care nurse named Bronnie Ware sat with people in their final weeks and wrote down what they wished they'd done differently. The regrets weren't about the shells they failed to collect, not the money, not the status, not the work. Nearly every man she nursed said he wished he hadn't worked so hard. People wished they'd let themselves be happier, wished they'd stayed in touch with their friends, wished they'd had the courage to live their own life instead of the one other people expected. The people closest to the captain's call could suddenly see which things on the beach had been shells and which had been the ship. Epictetus was trying to hand you that eyesight early, while you can still use it, because that's the quiet cruelty of the beach. Most of us only remember the ship when it's already calling. We spend the whole shore leave head down, hunting one more shell, one more truffle, certain there'll be time, and we look up too late. Epictetus adds one more line, and it's easy to miss. If you're old, he says, don't wander far from the ship. That sounds bleak until you turn it over. The further you are into the visit, the closer you should stay to what you'd run back for. Less chasing, more sitting with the people who matter. It's the same instruction, tuned to how much shore you have left. So here's the practice, and it's smaller than it sounds. Pick one thing you love, a person. More than anything, a person. Tonight, or tomorrow, when you're with them, let one thought cross your mind. Just once. Lightly. This is on loan. The captain hasn't called yet. And then, having thought it, be more there, not less. That's the move the Stoics actually made. The reminder of the ship isn't meant to pull you off the beach. It's meant to make you feel the sand while you're standing on it. But be honest about the edge here, because it's real and it's sharp. Held wrong, this becomes a wall. A man tells himself, everyone is on loan, quietly stops letting anyone in, and calls it wisdom. That's not what this is. Epictetus was answering a different question from the modern one. He lived in a world where a child could die overnight, and often did. His instruction was built so you could keep loving inside that terror without being destroyed by it. The failure mode is turning hold it loosely into hold it at arm's length. Loosely isn't coldly. You're not being told to care less. You're being told to stop clutching so hard that you crush the thing while it's still in your hands and miss it entirely because you were too busy dreading the day it leaves. So go back to the line that sounded so cold. The wife and the child dropped into a sentence with beach food. It was never about loving them less than a truffle. It was about the one hard fact they share with the truffle, and with everything else you'll ever hold. And it was about the only sane way to carry something you know you have to give back. You don't make the ship less real by refusing to look at it. You just make your time on the shore worse. Look at it once, on purpose. Then turn back to what's in front of you and be all the way there. Pick one person today. Feel how completely on loan they are. Let that make you gentler with them, not further away. And if all of it is on loan, and the captain calls when he calls and not before, then the last question is the one that decides everything. Not how to keep it. You can't. Whether you can want the day exactly as it comes, ship and all. That's the next page. It's the hinge the whole handbook turns on.